Welcome to another deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're going to be looking at this lifesjourney.pdf. And it's really fascinating. It uses this metaphor of a sea voyage
Okay.
to help us kind of understand the journey of life. And so the way to think about it is you're the captain
Yeah.
of a ship called the Endeavor, and you are sailing towards this destination called Paradise Port. But here's the thing. Every decision that you make, even the ones that seem really small, are like these
Right.
1-degree course adjustments. They could totally change where you end up.
Yeah, it's like those tiny little nudges that you make on the ship's wheel,
Right.
That can mean the difference between landing on some beautiful island paradise or,
Yeah,
ending up on a treacherous reef.
exactly.
Yeah.
So let's dive into the first part of the journey, setting sail.
Mm-hmm.
The piece starts with this really beautiful image of this vast ocean representing like all of our potential. And you've got your compass, right? Which symbolizes your heart and your dreams. And then you've got your map representing your mind and your practical plans.
What I really find interesting is that the author doesn't pit those two against each other. It's not like
Right.
heart versus mind. It's about using both,
Yeah.
your compass, that points you towards what really matters, like your paradise port. But that map helps you navigate like the actual currents and the obstacles to get there.
That's a really good point. It's like having your North Star, but also knowing how to read the weather.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So you're setting sail full of all this potential, and then bam, storm appears on the horizon.
And this is where the first course correction comes in.
Okay.
Now, when the piece talks about these storms, it's not just talking about literal storms at sea.
Right.
Think about what those metaphorical storms in your life might be. Maybe it's a sudden job loss or a health scare or even a relationship ending.
Yeah.
These are the moments that force you to make a decision to adjust course.
You know what really resonated with me was when the crew was debating about what to do, because it's like that internal struggle that we all have when we're faced with those tough choices.
Right.
Like, do we push forward or do we try to seek shelter?
Yeah. And the key takeaway here is that even a small adjustment, like a single degree shift in your direction, can make a huge difference.
Wow.
Think about it in a career context. Let's say you're feeling kind of stagnant in your current role.
Okay.
Maybe that 1-degree shift is like taking a new online course, or networking with people in a different field, or even just having a conversation with your boss about what you want, you know? Those seemingly small actions could help you avoid a much larger career storm down the line.
It's like preventative medicine almost.
Exactly.
So let's say you've weathered the storm, you're back on course, you're feeling pretty good.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you spot something on the horizon.
What is it?
This shimmering island.
Ah, yes. The mirage.
The mirage.
This part speaks to those really tempting distractions that can lure us off course. It's so easy to get caught up in chasing those shiny objects that promise these quick rewards.
Right. It's like those get-rich-quick schemes or the fad diets that promise you instant results.
Yeah.
But ultimately leave you feeling empty and further from your goals.
Right. But how do you actually tell the difference between a genuine opportunity, a true milestone on your journey, and a mirage that's just going to lead you astray? Yeah. That's the real challenge, The author suggests focusing on your compass.
Okay.
Your core values and your goals. If something doesn't really align with those, it's probably a mirage.
So if your paradise port, metaphorically speaking, is about building this meaningful career in a field that you're passionate about, but then you get sidetracked by a job that pays a lot of money in a totally different industry that you don't even care about. That's a mirage.
Yeah, even if it seems really tempting in the moment.
Even if it seems tempting. Yeah.
Yeah. It's about discerning what truly matters in the long run.
Right.
And sometimes those shiny mirages can be internal, too. Oh, interesting. Maybe you're procrastinating on a big project because you're afraid to fail.
Right.
That fear itself can become a mirage, tempting you to stay in your comfort zone.
Wow.
Instead of pushing towards your true potential.
Okay, so we've navigated a storm. We've resisted a mirage. We're feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, we're doing good.
As a captain now. And then the author throws us a curveball.
Oh, no. What is it?
The uncharted island.
The uncharted island. What is that?
Imagine you're sailing along feeling confident, and suddenly your compass starts behaving erratically.
Oh.
Strong winds push you off course.
Uh-oh.
And you find yourself landing on an island that isn't even on your map.
Wow. Okay. That sounds unsettling.
It does, right?
Right.
It's like all your carefully laid plans have just gone out the window.
Exactly. The uncharted island represents those unexpected challenges and detours in life that force us to adapt and grow, and that malfunctioning compass It symbolizes those moments when our intuition feels kind of shaky.
Yeah.
And we're not sure which way to turn.
It reminds me of that feeling you get when you're suddenly thrust into a new situation, like starting a new job or moving to a new city. It's like you're out of your comfort zone and everything feels uncertain.
Precisely. And that's where the true test of a captain lies, wouldn't you say? It's not about avoiding those uncharted islands altogether, but how we respond to them. Do we panic and resist? Or do we embrace the challenge as an opportunity to grow?
So how does the captain life's journey handle this unexpected detour?
Well, initially there's fear and confusion. The crew's kind of divided. Some want to stay put. Others want to try and find their way back to their original course. But the captain realizes that this uncharted island actually holds some valuable lessons.
What kind of lessons?
The island forces the captain to tap into these hidden strengths and develop new skills. They have to learn to navigate unfamiliar terrain, solve these unexpected problems, and rely on their resourcefulness. It's a process of stretching beyond what they thought their limitations were.
So even though it's not part of the original plan, this detour actually helps the captain become a better, more adaptable leader.
Exactly. And that's a powerful lesson for all of us. Those unexpected challenges, those moments that throw us off course, they often lead to the most significant growth and self-discovery.
It's like that saying, sometimes you have to get lost to find yourself. Okay. So the captain's learned these valuable lessons on this uncharted island. They've grown as a leader. What happens next?
Well, eventually the storm subsides, and that compass starts working again, and the captain is able to navigate back to their original course. But here's the important part. They return with this deeper understanding of themselves and their abilities.
It's like they've leveled up as a captain, right? They've faced adversity, they've adapted, and they've come out stronger on the other side.
Precisely. And that brings us to the final course correction, trusting the compass. This is where the captain truly internalizes the lessons they've learned along the way. They realize that that compass, representing their intuition and their inner wisdom, is their most valuable tool.
It's like they've finally learned to trust their gut, even when things get tough.
Exactly. They understand that while the map provides a plan, the compass guides them towards what truly matters, even when the path ahead is unclear. This part of the journey is about aligning your actions with your core values and your purpose.
That sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But how do you actually cultivate that trust in your own inner compass? It's not like you can just flip a switch and suddenly your intuition is always right.
It's a practice, a continuous process of self-discovery and refinement. The author suggests paying attention to those quiet whispers within, those gut feelings that guide us towards what feels right.
It's like learning to recognize the difference between the voice of fear and the voice of intuition. One holds you back, the other propels you forward.
Precisely. It's about tuning into that inner guidance system and learning to discern which voice to trust. And the more you practice, the stronger that connection becomes.
So trusting your compass is not about having all the answers or never making mistakes. It's about having the courage to listen to your inner voice and make decisions that feel aligned with your true self, even when those decisions are difficult or unpopular.
Exactly. It's about having faith in your own journey, even when it takes you off the beaten path.
And that brings us to the final destination, Paradise Port. What a journey it's been. Storms, mirages, uncharted islands. And finally, the captain reaches the intended goal.
It's a moment of triumph, certainly. But as the author emphasizes, it's not just about reaching the destination. It's about who you become along the way. Think about that captain arriving at Paradise Port. They're not the same person who first set sail. They've been tested, they've learned, they've grown.
So even if the destination is the same, the person who arrives there is transformed by the journey itself.
Absolutely. The challenges, the setbacks, the detours, they've all played a role in shaping the captain into the leader they are now. And I think that's a powerful takeaway for anyone listening. It's not just about achieving your goals, it's about the person you become in the process of pursuing those goals.
And what happens when you finally reach your Paradise Port? Are you just done? Is that the end of the journey?
The author leaves that open to interpretation. But I think it's implied that reaching Paradise Port isn't a finality. It's more like the beginning of a new chapter, a new leg of the journey.
It's like there's always another horizon to explore, another challenge to embrace.
Precisely. Life is a continuous journey of growth and evolution. There's no final destination, only a series of milestones along the way. And each milestone prepares us for the next leg of the adventure.
So reaching Paradise Port isn't like crossing some finish line, right? It's more like reaching this vantage point where you can look back and see how far you've come, and then you can set your sights on a new horizon.
That's a really beautiful way to put it. And it really speaks to, like you said, that ongoing nature of growth and self-discovery.
Yeah, it's like each Paradise Port is just a stepping stone on a much larger journey.
Exactly. And the skills and the wisdom that you've gained along the way, like navigating those storms, resisting those mirages, exploring those uncharted islands, all of that becomes part of your toolkit for the next leg of the journey.
Speaking of tools, we've talked a lot about the compass and the map, but what about the ship itself? The Endeavor. Does the author say anything about that?
That's an interesting observation. While the author doesn't really explicitly focus on the ship, I think it represents something super crucial, our capacity for growth and change.
Okay.
Just as a ship can be repaired, upgraded, even like completely refitted over time, so too can we evolve and adapt to new challenges and opportunities.
It's like the ship is a reflection of ourselves, constantly being shaped and reshaped by all the experiences we encounter on our journey.
Right. And it reminds us that we are not fixed or static beings. We have the potential to learn, to grow, to transform throughout our entire lives.
But even the sturdiest ship needs a skilled captain at the helm. What are some of the qualities that the author highlights as being essential for navigating life's journey effectively?
Well, we've already talked about a few: courage, resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to trust your intuition. But the author also emphasizes the importance of something they call grace.
What does grace mean in this context? It's not a word you typically associate with sailing.
Yeah, it's about navigating life's challenges with this sense of ease and acceptance. It's about acknowledging that things won't always go according to plan, and being open to the detours and those unexpected turns that life throws at us.
It's like accepting that storms are just a natural part of the journey and learning to kind of ride the waves instead of fighting against them.
Precisely. And it's about extending that grace to ourselves as well. You know, we all make mistakes. We all encounter setbacks. And it's important to treat ourselves with kindness and understanding during those times.
It's about recognizing that we're all on this journey of learning and growth. And sometimes those most valuable lessons come from our mistakes.
Absolutely. And that's where self-compassion comes in. It's about treating ourselves with that same understanding and empathy that we would offer to a close friend who's going through something really tough.
So life's journey isn't just some feel-good story about reaching a destination, right? It's like a guidebook for navigating the complexities of life with intention, courage, and grace.
That's a great way to put it. It's about embracing the journey itself, with all of its ups and downs, and recognizing that the most important destination is the person we become along the way.
Well, on that note, I think we've reached the end of our deep dive into life's journey.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure exploring these insightful metaphors with you.
Thank you for joining us on this voyage of self-discovery. We hope you've gained some valuable insights and maybe even some inspiration that you can apply to your own life's journey.
And remember, keep your compass close, your sails adjusted, and your heart open to all the endless possibilities that lie ahead.
Until next time, happy sailing.